evening and welcome to our 8th local elections debate. My name is Vuyo Mboko and thank you for joining us. We're coming to you live from the University of Johannesburg, our partner in this debate series. Tonight we're talking about the youth to the youth. And the question we are asking this evening is, which political party guarantees the youth of our country a better future? To state the ruling party's case, of course, we were supposed to welcome Mr. Floyd Shivambu, who is not here yet. Of course, next to where he's supposed to be is the Democratic Alliance's youth leader, Mr. Makashule Ghana. And to my right is the Inkatha Freedom Party's leader of the youth brigade, Mkhuleko Hlengwa. And next to him is Azapo's leader, Velisizwe Mbele. And of course, our analyst for this evening is Eusebius Mkaiser, who is a political commentator and an associate at the Vets Center for Ethics. Gentlemen, welcome to you all.
Thank you.
Well, let me start with you, Mr. Ghana. Why, in your view, is our youth guaranteed a much better future under the leadership and rule of the Democratic Alliance?
Thanks, Vuyo. I think first and foremost, we must understand the challenges facing the youth of South Africa at the moment. And one of the critical challenges that's facing us as young people in South Africa is the question of youth unemployment. And what has happened is that it has been proven that the best way to create jobs is to have a well-functioning municipality. In fact, the best jobs are created in the municipalities, because through running an effective and corruption-free municipalities, it attracts investors into that municipality, and that benefits the millions and millions of unemployed young people in that particular municipality. And that's something that the DA has been able to achieve in the municipalities that we govern. For example, in the Midvaal municipality just here in Gauteng, we have been able to attract Heineken, to come and invest in the municipality. And we have seen a direct benefit to young people through job creation in the municipality. And also, the municipality of Bavians in the Eastern Cape has also benefited young people through running efficient and clean government that attracts investors. And we believe that this is the best way to create the much needed jobs that young people need in South Africa.
Thank you very much. Mr. Hlengwa, IFP Youth Brigade.
No, thanks, Vuyo, and good evening to everybody. Well, the IFP has declared these elections under our slogan, "It's about you." And as the IFP Youth Brigade, we made an extension to that to say it's about youth, because we are confident that the programs we have in place for local government in the next term speak directly to young people of South Africa. They speak to the youth. They seek to address the core issues that affect youth. Importantly, we need an education system in South Africa which is improved. Secondly to that, we need to be able to create jobs. In creating jobs, it means that we need municipalities which will create a conducive environment for businesses as a private sector to partner with government, whether it's local, provincial or national, to create those jobs, because job creation is a joint venture of all society. Importantly, young people in the IFP, the bulk of our councillors this year will be young people. It will be the youth. So we are taking ownership of youth development, we're taking ownership of local government, and to ensure that our councillors are effective, we'll be launching the Youth Councillors Forum of the IFP, who will be exercising monitoring, evaluation, oversight, and continuous training so that our councillors are up to speed with what is needed to make municipalities work and municipalities be functional, to ensure that municipalities are open, transparent, and the youth are able to participate in all the deliberations of IDP and so on.
Thank you very much. Mr. Mbele, Azapo's.
Thank you, Vuyo. Well, as Azapo, our position is quite simple. It is only young people themselves who can guarantee their future, nobody else. That's the premise from which we move. Nobody can guarantee the future of young people. And in addition to that, if this country is going to go anywhere, we as Azapo firmly believe that we must place youth development at the center of the development of our country in the true sense of the word. And by that, this is what we mean as Azapo. That we must not do young people a favor when we dish out services to them and we invest in their development, that's one. And two, we have a position also where we are saying it is critically important, especially at local government level, to make sure that young people constitute the majority of people who are employed in our municipalities. One of the firm proposals we are making is that there is no need to have unemployed graduates in this country. In those dysfunctional municipalities, we must take those unemployed graduates and deploy them to those municipalities that are said to be dysfunctional. Not only will you be solving the problem of unemployment, but you'll also be capacitating young people. But most significantly, there are short-term and long-term ways of solving the problem. But in the long term, we must make education fashionable. And we must make education the most important tool of youth development because it guarantees our youth. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Shibambu, you have 90 seconds to tell us why you believe the youth of this country has a better future under ANC rule.
Now look, from the ANC side, we're not just speaking about rhetorical promises. We're speaking about programs that are already existing and bettering the living conditions of particularly youth, because we acknowledge the reality that majority of the unemployed population, it's young people. That is why we have persuaded the ANC and the youth league side to take a perspective that the major challenge in our local municipalities is not necessarily the service delivery issues. It's mainly unemployment. So the unemployed youth are the ones that take to the streets, ban municipality offices because they don't have job opportunities. So the main focus is about creating conducive environment for jobs to be created, for young people to have access to economic opportunities. That is basically our emphasis, that moving forward, the focus should be creation of jobs for young people. And we have made an emphasis which the ANC is going to work on after the local government elections, because we're going to win all these local government elections. That we must begin to absorb as many young people as possible into employment opportunities. The issue of 10 years experience for entry-level job must be removed altogether. That let us give young people access to sustainable employment opportunities so that they gain experience, contribute to development, and make sure that their lives are sustained and bettered for a sustainable life.
Thank you very much. Mr. Makaiza, Mr. Makaiza, you've heard what the leaders of the respective youth movements had to say. What, in your view, would it take? What sort of a political party should we have ruling anywhere in this country that can guarantee? What are the sort of things that these political parties need to do to guarantee our young people a better future?
Thanks, Vuyo. Firstly, I think it's great to see so many different youth movements here. One of the problems for the media is that sometimes we make it seem as if the ANC Youth League is the only youth organization in the country. But to answer your question, Vuyo, I think the political party that is most likely to capture the hearts and minds of the majority of young South Africans are the ones that can speak to their needs, in particular unemployment in this country. I mean, we know what the three sort of axes of evil in South Africa is. It's poverty, it's income inequality, and of course, the fact that we have such high levels of unemployment. And if, as a young person, certainly in South Africa, for me, when I look at different political parties, and I think it goes for all youth across the country, the party that you're most likely to identify with is going to be the one that will make a material difference to the conditions of your life. And I think that's why political parties have to think long and hard about what youth-specific policies they put out there to try and entice the youth. And I don't think we have a lot of discussion in our political discourse around youth-specific initiatives in the motherships of the various political parties.
Well, thank you very much. Well, we're going to take a very short break. If you're watching from home or listening to us on SAFM, you're most welcome to take part in this debate by sending us your email or SMS You can SMS the word elect followed by your message to 33726. That number again, 33726. SMSs cost 150 each. Our email address, of course, is elections@sabc.co.za. We also welcome your Facebook comments on the SABC's Facebook page, so stay with us.
Mom, why do we eat Kellogg's cornflakes every day?
I just told me, Uguti, you need to eat a good breakfast because every day we use up so many vitamins and minerals. And the more you do during the day, the more vitamins you use up. Like when you're learning at school, you use up vitamins. When you're studying.
A bowl of Kellogg's cornflakes every morning helps replace some of the vitamins and minerals your family uses up every day.
Even waiting for the bus.
Mom, does talking use up vitamins too?
I think you need this more than I do.
Start your day with Kellogg's cornflakes with
Bahana calls is the power. MTN Zone 100% Bahana calls and SMSs are here for live throughs. Bob, talk more. My baby's a pickup box.
Little Santa.
Join MTN and talk more with the MTN S308 for only 69 Rand on MTN Pay As You Go. And get 100% Mahana calls and SMSs by dialing *141 *4 *2#. Available at selected retail stores.
MTN.
Fana Coco, me fetu.
It's fine, Mommy, give it to me.
Show Coco your muscles. Yes. Turn around and kiss your muscles. I'm full. Ungabonisa Coco ukuthi ukhathela kanjani ibhola lakho. Laduma. Fana Coco na. Sozidlakela.
Made with farm fresh ingredients, coconut, and a touch of baker's magic. Nothing's as tempting as tennis.
Some kind of sale gang on you. CTM prices, sir. It's not a set.
Louis, tiles, 35 by 35. Beige with like a desert speckle. What's my price? 54.90. Ding, ding.
Ding, dong. 45.90.
Now we're talking, hey? Yes. Now we are.
CTM. We buy big. You save big.
The Man of Steel is back. To save the day in the premiere of Superman Returns. Catch Superman Returns Sunday at 8 only on SABC 1 and Sunset for sure.
Sunset for sure.
Welcome back. If you've just joined us, we're coming to you live from the University of Johannesburg, our partner in bringing you this debate series ahead of the local government elections 1 month from now. You can, of course, also follow this debate on SAFM and on sabcnews.com. Now, before we go back to our panel, I wanted to first listen to some of the comments we received from South Africans when we asked if the youth gets a fair hearing and say in local government affairs. This is what they had to say.
I believe that the local elections need to have more job creation for the youth especially, because I feel that a lot of youth are unemployed. They are skilled, but they are unemployed.
Could build more academic facilities for mentoring programs and tutoring, such things like that, as well as sports and recreation facilities, because we find that most children are often out in the streets.
I feel that as university students, the government should meet us halfway in terms of supplying finances, because they are really underprivileged people that can't afford to go to schools, and people like that don't choose those situations. So I feel that they should be helped.
The local government should implement a strategy where the youth can be allowed to explore their talents through performing arts. Because I understand academics are really important, but at the same time, you really need to know what you're good at, and in that way, you can get a chance to relax and just be yourself.
I think that the youth shouldn't really think about what the government should do for them, but I think it comes down to what the youth can do for themselves. It comes down to your own ability and empowering yourself and not depending on any kind of government.
The local government in the Free State particularly is very inactive throughout the year. Then come election time, that's when you see them come out and ask for your votes and stuff like that. They act best if they're very active throughout the year, not necessarily though.
The views there of our young people talking about their feelings and aspirations. Mr. Shwambu, all of you seem to be in agreement here that jobs, and more jobs are what the youth of South Africa need. What, in your view, are the stumbling blocks? Why is it so difficult? You mentioned one factor, 10 years experience and so on, how that must be done away with. But what, in your view, are the stumbling blocks?
Look, I think the issue of joblessness in South Africa is not a government issue only. It's a societal reality. The economy of South Africa is unable to absorb the entirety of its workforce, that people who are able to work do not have job opportunities because they're not there. Even if we can provide skills to all the people who are currently unemployed, the economy is unable to could absorb all of them into sustainable employment. So what needs to be done is to create more and more job opportunities. The state should play a leading role in making sure that the economy is spared, is given the capacity to create more job opportunities. But we're saying that let us begin to move away from governments subcontracting and doing lots of contractual work. Why can't we mobilize the youth in our municipalities to deal with issues of community safety, the issues of maintenance of infrastructure, the issues of sports development, and a variety of other opportunities. But also must not shy away from central economic issues, which the ANC is saying that once we're in control of the strategic sectors of the economy, we'll then be able to attract investors who are going to create many job opportunities on mining, on land, on agriculture, and a variety of other components.
Let me come in there quickly. I mean, your president sits in the leadership, is part of the leadership core of the African National Congress, with all the decision makers, including ministers in government. What does it tell them?
It tells them exactly what I was saying now. He every day speaks about the issue of addressing youth unemployment. We're not only limiting it to just day-to-day government functions. We're taking it at a far much broader scale to say that the economy must be transformed. If the economy continues to be in the hands of few people, few individuals, particularly white males in South Africa, we're not going to go anywhere with regards to transformation of society to create more job opportunities. Because what happens currently is that the economy of South Africa still retains what we can say colonial features. We extract natural resources, export them without processing or manufacturing them. So we're saying in order of us to manufacture and process these resources here in South Africa, the state must be in control of the strategic sectors of the economy, particularly minerals, land, and a variety of other components that can lead into industrialization and creation of more job opportunities.
Very briefly, yes or no? Are you succeeding?
We're making progress. We're definitely making progress.
Democratic Alliance. Sakana. Your leader, Helen Zille, says you are no longer an opposition party. You're a party in government. You have a track record. You mentioned the VAL, you mentioned the Heineken factory, but surely that can't be the only thing that that DA governments, wherever they rule, in the 7 or so municipalities that they have been in charge of. Tell us more. I mean, what else have you done for the youth of this country to show that if you were to be given a bigger mandate, you would actually do what the African National Congress hasn't done?
Thanks, Vio. I think Mid-Val is not the only opportunity. I mean, the only municipality where youth opportunities are being given to young people. I mentioned the Bavians municipality in the Eastern Cape, where we have put the youth at the center of our planning. You know, because the thing is, when you plan as a municipality, you must not only plan for today, you must plan for the future. You know, to say what are our kids and our future generation going to benefit from the decisions that we make today. And that is evident in the Bavians municipality, it's evident in the Swartland municipality in the Western Cape, where we govern, where the youth in those municipalities are at the center of all the decisions that are being taken. And the question that you asked earlier on what needs to be done in terms of creating the jobs, one way is to run a clean, corrupt-free municipality so that the investors that have to come in and start the factories there, they can be guaranteed that their investment will be successful. And we also need, as municipalities, we also need to give more opportunities to young entrepreneurs, because those entrepreneurs are the future job creators of our country. We cannot look forward only to the government or to big business, but it's the small guys on the ground that are going to succeed or to address the issue of youth unemployment.
Yes or no? Do you believe that the DA is doing a better job than the ANC?
Definitely yes.
Mr. Shengwa, the IFP has been in charge. Over the past 5 years, you've been in charge. You've been the ruling party in at least 26 municipalities.
32.
What have you done? Have you done anything different?
No, we have. The sustainable livelihoods of the youth in particular have been at the center of municipal programs in where we've been in government. But what is more important is
Give us examples.
Well, the Zululand district municipality is a prime example of a municipality that has been governed well, a municipality that has delivered, and we are addressing problems where there are problems. And the best thing about the IFP is that when there are challenges, we are honest about them, and we bring the people on board to say, let us work in making better whatever it is that you are doing. So importantly, as we've said, part of the 3 pillars of the government we want to have is openness and transparency, efficiency and effectiveness, and participation, which these 3 things borrowed from international models of local government are what have been driving the IFP run municipalities, so that they will continue to be doing when we take back the municipalities that we are governing now, those that we lost in 2006, and improve our showing where we have not done so. So we are a work in progress, and it is now up to us as the people of South Africa to come behind the IFP, because we are the only credible alternative to the fast-failing ANC and seemingly fast-failing Democratic Alliance. That is what we exist to do. So the issues of economic transformation, we don't need BEE, we need Youth Economic Empowerment, YEE.
Thank you very much. Now, Mr. Mbele, you are the only party that has not been in government at local government level over the past 5 years. If you listen to the 3 parties, all of them seem to be saying they are doing very well, thank you. Do you share that view? And if you don't, what is Azapo going to do differently from what the IFP, the DA, and the ANC have been doing?
All right. Thanks so much for the question. Let me quickly first deal with the point which was made by the comrade from representing the ANC Youth League. You see, it does not help for us to come and complain about who controls the economy and how that is structured. You've got a 2/3 majority more than once. You had the opportunity to change it. You did not change it. So there's no excuse when it comes to that. That's one. 2, the other critical thing we must also understand is that for citizens to contribute to the development of their country, they don't necessarily have to be in government. You can make a contribution even outside government, which is one thing that we pride ourselves in Azapo. One of the things we are renowned for, take the Department of Education and Department of Science and Technology. We provided leadership and human resource in that. Without being in government, we led those departments. That is the other point. But on the question that you asked, to come back to that more specifically, because I don't think we must take these things as if people's contribution is just limited to being elected. You can make a contribution, even when you are not in government. Coming back to your question, the other critical issue for us is if the service delivery protests, which are overwhelmingly led by young people, are anything to go by, what my colleagues have said here on my left, with due respect, is handling the truth carelessly. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Eusebius, do you think the youth representatives that we have here today have a grasp of the nub of the problem? Even though they are able to state it, do you think they are able to get to the bottom of it to find out why the things that they aspire to are actually not happening?
I think so, Vuyo. I mean, I definitely think that we are sometimes harsh on the youth of the country. I agree with the representative from Azapo. If you take things like the street delivery protest, for example, it does demonstrate that the South African youth care. So one of the assumptions we often make in the media is this bland assumption that South African youth are apathetic, apolitical, and they don't care. I don't think that's true. And I also don't think it's rocket science to understand why the material conditions in the country are not better. Things like corruption, structural unemployment, the state of the education system, those are the drivers of poverty, inequality, and joblessness. And I think it's really not that difficult to comprehend. At the end of the day, the question is, which amongst these different political parties have the capacity, because it's fundamentally a capacity problem, not an ideology or policy problem. Who has the best capacity? And sadly for these guys on my left, I mean, we really only have the DA and ANC that we could have tested thus far. But I think that's where we need to be channeling our energy as young people, to ask ourselves, who do we trust to deliver, and have fewer debates in South Africa about ideology and about policy, because that's where South Africans get stuck like a broken record.
But I mean, apart from their no doubt overwhelming zest and enthusiasm, do you believe that the education system that we have and everything else that we can put at their disposal in form of support, whether at national, provincial, or at local government, do you think it prepares them for the kind of leaders that we need tomorrow?
Absolutely not. I definitely don't think so. I must say I'm pleasantly surprised by how well the leaders on the stage today, all four of them, articulating important aspects of the challenges of the country. But on the whole, I think that the political parties don't do an excellent job to make sure that the right skill sets are inculcated in the leaders of tomorrow. I am scared when I listen to a lot of our youth leaders who are prominent on the national stage and imagine them and project them into the future in 10 or 20 years' time as someone that I have to look up to as president or as cabinet minister. I don't think we do that. But I think the bigger problem, which is perhaps even more sad than the mere fact of a lack of good leadership amongst the youth leadership corps, is that it's symptomatic of systemic problems within the state as a whole, Vuyo, because at the end of the day, when you have too many education ministers wanting to stamp their individual brand and philosophy on the education system, then of course you're never going to get the basics right. So I see some of these challenges in the youth leadership structure and the fact that we don't always see mature politics amongst the different youth league organizations in the country as symptomatic of deeper problems within our body politic.
Thank you very much. Eusebius Mkeza, Analyst and from the Vets Institute for Ethics. To our viewers and listeners at home, thank you for your emails and SMSs. There is still time for your comments. SMS the word elect, followed by your message to 33726. That number again, 33726. SMSs cost R1.50. Our email address, elections@sabc.co.za. After the break, we'll take more questions from our audience. So don't go away. Stay right where you are.
It's a make it work, make the boss happy, day in, day out. So much to do, gotta do it all now, world. You have to chase the dream, seal the deal, and make the money. But every now and then, it's good to leave that hectic world behind for the things that really matter to you.
Don't you say that it's all the same.
Simply pour, pause, sip, and enjoy a Castle Milk Stout. Brewed from dark, quality roasted malt. To be sipped slowly so you can truly unwind. Castle Milk Stout. There's a journey in every moment.
Are you prepared for the worst? If you or a family member were to pass away right now, is there enough money for the funeral? At Hollard, we get you and cover you and your partner for up to 50,000 Rand for burial expenses. And to make arranging the funeral easier, we now offer you access to a car. You also have the option of your family receiving up to 1,200 Rand a month for a year after the funeral. Lastly, we offer you up to 10,000 Rand to erect a tombstone as a remembrance. SMS your name or send a please call me to 082-936-7777. That's 082-936-7777.
Imagine me and you, I do. I think about you day and night. It's only right to think about the one you love and hold them tight. So happy together. I can't see me loving nobody but you for all my life. When you're with me, baby, the skies will be blue for all my life. We're happy together.
Right, where's my tune to get me going? I need to call Paul, T-Balls, and my mom just to check in. And tell the guys what the story is for tonight. Yo, now that was a party. Let me stick it onto my page and send this to my girl for sweet dreams.
Introducing the new Cell-C F250 for only 499 Rand. The perfect cell phone to use on Cell-C's new super fast network.
Must start paying off because I am not a patient man.
Ungafuni ukuthi uye ejele.
Case yaqhubeka ayikho into esizoyenza ukuyistop.
How do you guys, what do you mean?
I mean, you South Africans, we've seen the news. We see what you guys do.
Uma ufuna sihlale sishadile. Ngicela uhlukane nento zenza ngaphandle.
For sure.
Welcome back. We continue with our debate live from the University of Johannesburg. You can, of course, also follow this debate on SAFM and on sabcnews.com. Now, let me read you one or two emails that we've got. Youth have a huge role to play. However, it has to be guided by the skills audit report collected from the CDWs in each municipality, since their needs may vary based on their geographical situations and background. This will help to ensure agencies like the NYDA are held accountable for failure. This is from Sakum's Ndlovu in Orlando West. Mzwandile Mkowane says, the youth of today would rather drink their political injustices and sorrows away than face the reality of inequality. And Brian Kumalo says, the youth of today are more accepting and have the power to change the bigotry of the past. And BW Zulu in Johannesburg says, the youth should now take leadership in politics of this country. I'm sure the panel will comment on some of the things that have been said there. Now, let's go to questions. Question there from the Congress of the People.
Thank you very much, Vuyo. I'm Ngaba Panga, the president of COPE Youth Movement. Firstly, Comrade Floyd, just here on national television, he have just arrived very late in this program. This is a reflection of the ANC delay on service delivery. More than 68% of municipalities under the leadership of the ANC in this country, they have gone bankrupt. And our people are standing on the street without being serviced. The Congress of the People want the ANC to answer today on one simple question. That in 1976, the youth of Soweto marched against services and the brutality of the police, of the nationalist government, killed young people. I want to ask the ANC, the killing of Comrade Tabane in Fiesback by ANC police is not a reflection of ANC brutality. The ANC.
Thank you very much. I think we got the gist of your question.
The SABC and SABC of the ANC today.
I'm shocked that Ngaba is speaking the way he's speaking because he's coming from a failed party, which is not going to even which won't even get one word in the coming local government elections. It will be a miracle for Cope to get just one word for the upcoming local government elections. We really can't entertain some of those things. But let us clarify something just quickly, that the issue in our communities, Vuyo, it's not about service delivery. Where you encounter most protests is areas that have got free local, like free houses from RDP, water, sanitation, tarred roads, and everything else. We agree that the issue is unemployment. We've got to confront that vigorously. The ANC says in government that our priority is creation of job opportunities, particularly for the youth. The issue of services is a separate issue altogether that we're doing very well on. We have provided water, electricity, houses, no-fee schools. Majority of the schools in South Africa today are no-fee schools. We're giving financial aid to students that go to higher education. It's the ANC government that has funded these people. It's the ANC government that has made, amongst other people like Ngaba to be able to speak in English because he was aid dependent provided by the ANC.
Very briefly, before we take the Democratic Alliance question, very briefly, the ANC Youth League's position on what happened this week in the Free State.
No, look, we condemn totally what happened in the Free State, in Ficksburg, Sotho municipality, and we are glad that now the ICD has moved to arrest the police that did that. It's unacceptable. It will never be accommodated anywhere.
Thank you very much. Can you tell us who you are and pose your question, please?
Thank you, Vio. My name is Julius Sadiki. I'm a PR councillor from the city of Joburg. I'd like to pose this question to liberal Ghana. Ghana, the DA is pushing an ideology of an open opportunity society for all. So, with that vision, let's assume that the DA take control of the city of Joburg, which we are going to do. How the DA is going to make sure that the youth of South Africa participate effectively in the economy.
Thank you very much. Mr. Ghana?
Thanks very much for that question. I think one of the best ways to deal with it is to first and foremost start with the basics. Because before you are able to roll out services, you need to start with the basics of understanding where you are as the municipality. And at this moment in the city of Joburg, I don't believe that the youth are being placed at the center of decisions that are taken by council. And this is evident in the way in which Johannesburg as a municipality has been unable in a way to attract new investors. The investors that are in Johannesburg at the moment are the investors that have been here for a while. So what we are going to do coming into Johannesburg is to open up the issue of the environment wherein business has to come in. Start with the inner city. Because if you can't have a clean inner city, there's no way business can come into that municipality. So that is the first foremost thing that we are going to do. We are going to clean the inner city, make sure that big companies come to the inner city, invest in the inner city.
Thank you. Question from Azapo. Go ahead, sir. Tell us who you are and pose your question.
Yes. This is the question that goes to the ANC. Having failed for 15 years, they're still speaking of job opportunities versus corruption. The very same people who are doing corruption locally, provincially, and nationally. Because like when you check on the issue of the mining and agriculture, the youth do not go to school, do not go to universities for agriculture and mining. They go to school to get educated on ITC issues and science. Then now, on that note, it's a problem. What I say nationalization in terms of mining and others. Then now, when it comes to employment, you are making sure that many people are failing to get employment due to the corruption that you're doing in terms of nepotism.
Thank you very much. I think we've got this. I don't know if you want to comment briefly.
I think just the remarks of Azapo explains why Azapo does not even have a single municipality in South Africa. It's the weaknesses such as those that make people to be thinking narrowly, to think that everything else is about the services economy. At the core of the South African economy is mining and agriculture. You can't move away from that particular reality. If you want to create jobs, you must make sure that those areas are the ones that create job opportunities. So for someone who claims to be representing a political party to speak in the manner which he did, it's a serious disappointment, but it's a very good explanation why Azapo doesn't have a single word in South Africa and will never win local government elections anyway. It's one of those things.
Thank you very much. IFP?
Thank you, Program Director. My name is Muzintuli from the IFP. Let me check. Let me start by saying why we have National Youth Development Agency in the country while there is no assistance at all to the youth. I'm trying to check with Comrade Mkhuleko on that point. Secondly, there is this issue of demonstration in our country against the poor services delivered to them by the government of the day. So now the ANC want the people of South Africa to vote for them on the 18th. Why? For what reason?
Thank you very much. You want to respond to that?
No, I think it's important here to state very clearly that as the IFP Youth Brigade, we are very concerned at the snail pace delivery services of the NYDA. A failure to put in place now a turnaround strategy for that institution to deliver for the youth of South Africa means that we're destined for some sort of disaster or the other. The NYDA needs to be sorted out as in yesterday. It's 2 years later, we are still awaiting programs that are tangible. It's still in initiation stage to say it's coming along. So those type of things lead us as IFP Youth Brigade to say, might as well disband it and go back to square one. Formulate a national ministry for youth affairs.
Thank you very much. No, we have stopped you right there. You were supposed to ask one question. Floyd, do you have something to say around the NYDA? I think there's generally unhappiness, especially among, you've heard what the political parties had to say, the other political youth formations had to say about the NYDA. Nobody seems to have something nice to say about them.
Now look, an admission which the ANC has made publicly is that because of underfunding of the NYDA, it has not moved with the necessary speed it had to move with towards consolidation of the program that it has. There's a very perfect policy framework that has been put, the integrated youth development strategy, the national youth policy, and the mechanisms that have been put in place to integrate youth development at all levels. But because of underfunding, we have been unable to move with the necessary speed to establish the offices in local municipalities and provinces. But now there's beginning to be progress. In more than 140 municipalities, there's an agreement that before the end of this year, the NYDA offices will be set up and begin to dish out services. Those are some of the things that and we can't stand here and claim victories on some of the things that we've got challenges on, because we know that there are challenges in the NYDA, mainly around funding of the NYDA structure, and that is going to be dealt with in terms of how we move forward and create more sustainable job opportunities and economic opportunities for majority of our young people. But there is some work which is not significant that is being done by the NYDA.
Thank you. African National Congress.
Thank you, Vuyo. I'm Comrade Tapelo Lehwabi from Ward 110. My question to DA and other parties is, they didn't elaborate on the issue of economy. As we, the ANC, we believe if we can gain economy, or if we can make sure that we gain economy, we will be able to put a stop to unemployment.
Thank you.
As it is our major problem.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Will. I think I did allude to this fact, that if you have a municipality that is corrupt, that is not delivering services, there's no way that an investor can come into that municipality to invest. But if you have a municipality that is clean and is corrupt-free and is able to deliver services to their people, it's easy for investors to come to that municipality.
Thank you.
This is the new economy that we need to drive. And as I said, maybe let me wrap it up.
Let me stop you right there. Because the question was to other people as well.
Before we even speak of economic transformation, we need to clean up municipalities in South Africa. Corruption is on the high. The DA has a protest so it governs. The ANC has a protest so it governs. The IFP has never had because we are good at governing.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much. Just quick few issues. One on the issue relating to the unfortunate killing of the gentleman in the Free State, Tabani. For us in Azapo, the way we look at it also, this is also a manifestation of how the state has become harsh on the poor. Because instead of addressing the issues of the poor, what the state is doing is unleashing the police. But the other issue, which is also critical, the question from the comrade from the ANC, I don't know, you don't have to gain the economy. The ANC is the ruling party. You have a majority. The only thing you need to do is to redistribute the wealth of our country. So don't outsource your responsibility. Take charge. You are simply afraid to take charge.
Thank you very much from Azapo. Well, to our viewers and listeners at home, please keep sending us your comments by SMS or email. SMS the word elect followed by a message to 33726. SMS is cost 150. Our email address elections@sabc.co.za. We'll continue with this debate on the role of the youth in local governance right after this.
An amount of 6.4 billion rands has been set aside as dedicated funding for road maintenance in provinces for the current financial year. 22.3 billion will have been spent by 2014. As the transport family, that is Minister and MECs from all 9 provinces, we have prioritized road maintenance, repair of potholes, and job creation in a program called Sihamba Sonke. Sihamba Sonke will be officially launched on the 18th of April in Durban. Sihamba Sonke, on Sluopsam, Resipila Kamuka.
On Mzansi Insider this coming Monday, we check out Ama Film Star wannabes as we bring you Ama auditions of Class X Season 2 at Goli Wandonga Zetun. We go to the bioscope and take you behind the scenes of a movie premiere with Utapelo Mukwenga. The beautiful Miranda from Walala Wasala hangs out with us in studio and we get to pick her braids. And Umavusana uenza zona izinto atumengazo as he brings you the weekend blockbuster movies. That is Mzansi Insider this coming Monday, go 6:30 only on Mzansi for sure.
Azange ngicabanga ukuthi ama decisions enye ngawathatha ngisese teenager ukuthi anga change impilo yami ayenze ibe the way engakhona namhlanje.
I see you starting to smile, which means find out how Pindi plans to make her move towards a better life for her and her son. Watch Make Your Move this Monday, 18 April, 7 p.m. on SABC1, Mzansi for sure.
Culture evolves. Power corrupts. Who will be man enough to fight for what is right? Inziga, a compelling drama series about one man's discovery of what it takes to be a real man. Tuesday nights at 8:30 on SABC1, Mzansi for sure.
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. Mr. Makaiza, You heard what these youth leaders had to say. You heard the points they raised, the issues they raised, how they think some of these problems should be dealt with. If you were to sum up this evening's debate, having listened to these political parties, what would you say about their ability to be spot on about the problems that are facing young people today, and more importantly, the sort of things that they're suggesting need to be done to take this country forward?
Okay, thanks, Via. Just a couple of things. I must say I'm pleasantly surprised. I do think that all of the representatives here have articulated aspects of the national challenges that we face in a way that is lucid and that really gets to the core issues. So I don't think we can really fault them fundamentally. However, it's not something, and this is why I was criticizing them earlier, it's not something we see on a sustained daily basis in terms of the quality of political discourse amongst the youth movements. So for me, I would say the fundamental challenge for all the youth movements in the country is if you want to get more young South Africans to be formally part of the political dialogue in this country, you've got to involve them as partners in the conversations around the challenges of the youth. And if you are a young South African, you mustn't feel to yourself, my best shot at being involved in this country is outside of the political process, maybe to go to university, get a degree, and hopefully get into corporate South Africa. A lot of the South Africans, I think, care about the political structures, but they can't see themselves in terms of their identities reflected in the quality and in the nature of the political processes amongst the youth movements. And so the main challenge really coming out tonight, on the positive side, I think it is clear that a lot of the youth leaders here do understand the issues, but I think what they don't think about strategically is how to sell that message on a daily basis in a way that doesn't alienate young South Africans, that speak to the changing needs of a country 16, 17 years into democracy, that gets away from struggle speak, that recognizes that class is intersecting with race in interesting ways, so we've got to find a new language and new tropes for speaking, and also recognizing a set of issues that are more important now than, say, 15, 20 years ago. On the negative side, and this is an example of the youth movements not reaching out to the young people in South Africa appropriately, we'll look at the people on the stage, and you have 4 men on stage. Where are the female representatives, for example? So being perceptive about the kinds of issues that we care about in society, like gender, for example, and making sure that you address that. I see Floyd is nodding there, not quite in approval, but the truth of the matter is that all of the political movements suffer from a lot of these challenges, and the ANC Youth League, for example, is a great example where there are many young South Africans. If you are a young South African who went to a Model C school, for example, you can't see yourself in the struggle speak that you will hear from a Julius Malema, for example, and that's the lack of diversity within the youth movements which alienate certain sections of, I think, the South African youth.
And very briefly, in 10 seconds, do you think a lot is lost when these young people, even though they're coming from diverse political backgrounds, a lot is lost because they stick to their organizations and to their ideological positions instead of seeking ways and means of cooperating with each other?
I think that's absolutely true, but on the other hand, I don't think we must bemoan that fact, Vuya. Politics is adversarial. That's why people are booing and getting involved. We don't have to see that as a crisis of the political discourse. It's okay for there to be robust politics. But what I'm saying is, in order for each of these political movements to have the best shot at maximizing their youth membership numbers, they've got to speak in ways that appeal to a cross-section of new South Africans, rather than just being one-dimensional in the kind of political language they adopt, which is often simply inherited from people who are 60 years old.
Thank you very much, Eusebius Mkaiser. Mr. Mbele, you have 30 seconds to sum up Azapo's view this evening.
Yeah, thank you so much. Like we said initially when we started, South Africa is a youth country. The majority of people in this country are young people, and it is them only who have the ability to change their circumstances. They must get more involved. They must not be spectators in a game they are supposed to be playing. And that is why when we enter this election, we enter under the theme, take back your power, young people. And we must follow in the footsteps of our brother, peace be upon his soul, Andries Tabane in Fixback. That is how we enter in.
Thank you very much. Mr. Shangwa, IFP Youth Brigade.
IFP exists to serve the people of South Africa in unity and diversity. We are committed to free and fair elections. We are committed to tolerance. Importantly, these elections are about you. These elections are about the youth. The IFP exists to serve you. So go out on the 18th of May and vote IFP. It's about you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Ghana, Democratic Alliance.
Thanks. To the young people of our country, we want to say that change will not happen through burning of government buildings, but change will happen on the 18th if you vote for the DA. Because where we govern as the DA, we have delivered to all the people, including the youth. And this is evident and it's sure of what we are going to do in the future. Only if you believe in change, you are going to vote for the DA on the 18th of May.
Thank you very much. Shibambu.
No, thanks. Well, from the Youth League, we're saying that the only sound and reasonable vote which any reasonable young person can give on the 18th of May is a vote to the African National Congress. So all young people should be waking up in the morning on the 18th to go and vote for the ANC. But just quickly, I hear the DA is claiming victory of investments in Midvaal. That investment in Midvaal has been brought to South Africa by the ANC provincial government. The municipality never had anything to deal with that. So we must clarify that issue for once and for all.
Thank you very much. I'm afraid that's all we had time for this evening. That concludes tonight's debate show. For those of you going away for the Easter period, please drive safely. But also don't forget to join us next Sunday evening when we bring you a recorded debate on whether political parties care about gender equality and empowerment of women. That debate was recorded earlier today. I can tell you now, you shouldn't miss it. As always,